I saw a comment recently that suggested that companies like Samsung and Apple use lithium-ion batteries where they should be using lithium-polymer batteries because lithium-polymer is superior. I wondered, is that really true? I've read a whole bunch of online articles. The facts there sometimes conflict with one another, sometimes they contradict one another. But in general, whatever made sense to me, I've listed that down. Now, firstly, lithium-ion batteries are much more cheaper and are easily accessible, so they have been around for a long time. That's not to say lithium-polymer is incredibly expensive. It hasn't been around as much, but that's definitely changing. It's gaining more and more popularity every month. But the reason why most mobile devices like Samsung and Apple phones have used lithium-ion batteries is because they have generally higher charging cycles. Lithium-ion batteries have like around 300 to 500 healthy charging cycles all around, which means they can last realistically 2 to 3 years. I think that sounds familiar, right? A typical smartphone usually lasts around 2 to 3 years before the battery has to be changed. And that still continues to be the strongest suit of lithium-ion batteries because in general, lithium-polymer batteries don't seem to last as long. They don't have that many charging cycle capability, so in theory, I guess they should die faster or require a replacement faster. There's also a physical form factor difference. For mobile devices, the form factor and the weight matters a lot. What I've noticed is lithium-ion batteries tend to be smaller but heavier because they use a liquid electrolyte, whereas lithium-polymer batteries for the same capacity tend to be much lighter but they are physically bigger or taller sometimes. That's probably because they are encased in a soft shell around them, but that has an advantage too. This superior construction of lithium-polymer batteries makes them much more durable and withstand higher temperatures. That means they don't react to temperatures as much and they can withstand much higher charging wattage compared to lithium-ion, which makes them ideal for super fast charging. That's why we are seeing phones these days that can charge at 100 watts, 150, 200 watts. Lithium-ion cannot do that. So that's the biggest strong point of lithium polymer: rapid charging. And also, since it has a gel-like electrolyte, it doesn't have as much risk of the battery puffing up or causing any kind of leakage compared to lithium-ion. You have probably seen lithium-ion batteries swelling up. Well, that issue isn't as prevalent in lithium polymer, at least based on what I've seen. And even though lithium-ion batteries are generally more reactive and are slightly less safe, they do provide more current or more power delivery for their size. So as we observed from that example, the same capacity lithium-ion battery can be smaller, albeit at the expense of being a heavier cell. Lithium polymer batteries don't discharge as much when they are not being used, passively. So that's why lithium polymer is preferred in devices which may not be regularly used, like drones, for example. So then which one is better between the two? Well, there is no clear answer, as you can see, but in my opinion, for us consumers, lithium polymer is probably a better choice because it has fast charging and is much safer and lighter as well. So in a way, yeah, I guess lithium polymer is superior. Even though lithium ion delivers steadier current, lithium polymer is a lot more, practical in day-to-day usage, especially for smartphones. I mean, after experiencing 100-watt charging on my phone, I don't think I can go back to Samsung's 25-watt or recent 45-watt charging. Because of their lithium-ion batteries, Samsung and Apple are playing catch-up with the rest of the industry who have well passed like 200-watt charging in smartphones completely safely. There were always concerns that, oh my god, this will ruin my battery, no way this fast charging is safe. Well, if you're on lithium ion, then sure, it may be a little more unsafe, but lithium polymer can handle it like a champ. So yeah, if I were you, I would put those, uneasy feelings to rest. Don't worry about fast charging phones as long as they have lithium polymer. But the lifespan of these batteries is pretty short, like they may have to be replaced soon. So is there no alternative? Well, there are better technologies being developed like solid state batteries or thin film batteries. These batteries offer significantly better performance compared to existing lithium ion batteries or even lithium polymer ones. They don't have the dangers or any weak points of existing batteries. They will definitely be a step in the right direction. But that's in development from the past 5-6 years, so it may take a little while longer for it to make it into mainstream devices. But until then, for fast charging lovers, lithium polymer is a better option. I guess the reason why Apple and Samsung are sticking to lithium ion is because it's a lot more easier to obtain and it provides steadier, better quality power output for the price. I think that's the reason. Well, what do you think? Which one do you think you should go for? Lithium ion powered or lithium polymer ones? Do you love fast charging or do you prefer steadier current more? I think lithium polymer is better since it's safer, as I mentioned, but let me know your thoughts.